Okay. Welcome to Rootworkers around the table and around the world. I'm Sister Sonia.
And I'm Papa O. Fist bump.
Fist bump.
So how are you doing this week, Sister Sonia?
It's Mercury in retrograde.
It is time to pull out your Mercury times.
So many technical difficulties this evening, and now I know why.
To me, it's been more of the emotional stress, and I'm trying to do what my ancestors tell me: let it go, let it flow. You know,
let it go, let it go. I got the right song tonight.
You did.
Last week I had the wrong song.
Is it the correct Disney movie though?
Let's see.
You did get the.
What is that movie? Frozen.
That's Frozen.
Frozen. Yes.
I love Frozen. I love the first song in it. I don't know, it's like an Icelandic song. It's called Wele. It's a part of the first one, and it's in the second one too. It's a really good song.
It's not Do You Want to Build a Snowman?
No.
Okay.
Do you want to build a snowman this year?
No, absolutely not. Bring the summer back.
Because according to what the almanac is saying, it's supposed to be cold and wet.
I got to break out the persimmons and see what the persimmons say.
You know what I got my first today? My first fig.
Did?
My first fig came in.
Oh!
The trees are finally 3 years old. So now it just started bearing fruit.
Yay!
Now I can't tell anything from that, and we've had a lot of butterflies this year. I don't know what that means. Probably we had a lot of bugs.
Lots of birds. Pestilence and plagues. That's what that means.
Hey, but like we're still pulling berries in from our garden, you know? And since it hasn't been too much rain, they're sweet without being watery. Very excited. I am still I haven't seen any of the woolly worms yet. I haven't seen any of the signs of winter. Except it's been cold at night. It has gotten down to 39 degrees here.
Yeah, 39 degrees this morning. And I have seen woolly worms. I have seen black woolly worms, which is the sign of a bad winter.
So you think it's going to be bad this winter?
My prediction is snow, wet snow, a lot of wet snow, not dry snow, but wet snow.
What do you think about illness? Do you think it's going to be a very sick, like whoever that was in the background?
More viruses than bacterial, though. That is my prediction. Gonna have a lot of viral infections.
Well, for the last 3 years, due to masking, we've really held off any bad influenza. My big thing with influenza always was make sure you keep the temperature under control. You know, that's my. You don't want it too high.
We keep it around. I think you should keep it around 68 in the house.
And I've got a question for you. For me, this was something that my family always did. Making sure that there was always good circulation of air. That my family believed that by bad air you could get sick.
Oh yeah. Anytime anybody gets sick around here, you got to open the windows.
But of course, we're also coming from a time of, what is it? We are just coming out of the time of tuberculosis, when those who were my first ancestors. So I understand that too.
Yeah.
And look, I'm now
gotta open the windows and bleach everything.
I'm one of the ancestors
Go
that
ahead.
has
I'm
the
sorry.
TB. I'm one of the ancestors that has the TB.
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of ancestors die from tuberculosis.
I won't be one of
Sure
them.
did. It's very prevalent in this part of the country back in the day, tuberculosis.
What it was?
Mammoth Cave was a hospital for tuberculosis.
Have you ever done any spirit work around there?
Around Mammoth Cave, at the church at Joppa.
Hmm?
Yeah.
I know. Do you know that Waverly was once a tuberculosis hospital?
Yeah, I went to Waverly last year.
I
You
am,
get through a lot of.
but I am wondering, since I have the virus in me, I wonder if the ghost would treat me differently.
Hmm, I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. Can they sense the illness itself? Does the illness have an energy? Like the movie,
Animals can.
and there was a movie that
Animals and stuff.
there was a movie where zombies could see, I think it was World War Z, where the zombies could see if somebody had an infection in them and would totally miss them.
Oh, they wouldn't eat them because they were sick.
The same way we wouldn't eat sick cattle or sick chicken, you know.
I wonder how Dahmer could determine who he ate. I
Did you watch Dahmer yet?
haven't. Allie is watching Dahmer.
I watched Dahmer, um, and it was interesting because at a lot of it focuses on his neighbor, and a lot of it focuses on the people who he killed. And I thought this was interesting for America. Um, we we more focus on the villain than his victims. Like
True.
everybody can name a serial killer, but can you name a serial killer's victims?
True.
And like um everybody knows Billy the Kid, but does everybody know who killed Billy the Kid?
Hmm. Landon in the background just said Wyatt Earp.
It wasn't Wyatt Earp that killed him. It was one of but it was one of his buddies who actually did the kibosh on Billy the Kid, or he survived until into the 1980s. Because
Billy the Kid. Was it it wasn't Jesse James. Jesse James was around this area though.
so there was somebody who actually robbed a bank uh, on the square of Glasgow, like a famous mall something. Because when I was doing
Jesse James robbed the train in Cape City, so I do know that.
really,
Yes,
do you know
that's pretty
where?
cool. Um, he just robbed the train. I'm not sure specifically where in Cape City.
Do you know who would probably know? Debbie.
Huh?
Debbie would probably know.
Debbie would know, or the historian, because we have a local historian in Cape City now. Well, we've had one. I didn't know about it. Our historian in Glasgow is Sam Terry. He knows all things Glasgow.
Who is the one in Cave City?
I think his last name is, gosh, I've got it. I'll have to look him up. But the Cape City has a historical society on Facebook.
We should bring him on
So,
one night to talk about some of the local folklore of this area.
of Cave City, we should. That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. I think Cave City would be more interesting than Glasgow. I'm not sure why. I just think it would be.
Well,
Maybe because of Floyd Collins and
Floyd, that's Sand Cave, isn't it?
yes, which is a part of Mammoth Cave. Yeah. And he they put him on display for a while and then he came up missing his leg. I don't think they ever got his leg back.
There is in Cambridge, they bring out Bentham to speak. Well, one semester, the rugby players got a hold of him and mutilated his head so bad that now there's a fake head on his actual body, his mummified
And
body.
who is he?
He was a philosopher, and he always, when there's a tie in at the university, he comes out and makes the breaking vote.
Oh, that's
It,
interesting.
it's weird dead bodies in the Western world. That would make an interesting
It is.
weird dead bodies of the Western world.
Mhm.
Because,
Poor poor Floyd Collins. The Carnies have his leg now.
but are
Somewhere in Carnieville, there's a leg that
well,
belongs to Floyd Collins.
well, I was thinking to myself, do you like a lot of that stuff is getting lost? Like the dare I say it, the art of the carny. We are losing that type of.
It's definitely an art. It's an art form for sure. Not everybody can be a Carney. You
True.
know, do you remember when you were younger? Have you ever watched Joe Dirt?
I have watched Joe Dirt.
Back in the day, do you remember? Oh God, was the name of the band Cars? That was the name of the band, right?
I can't.
And then they would have like the county fair or the carnival where they would play all kinds of wild rock music like the Cars or REO
Yeah.
Speedwagon, and you'd always have the Joe Dirt Carney sitting there with his hair whipping in the wind, flirting. I remember those days. They were the coolest until people got kidnapped. No, I don't recall anybody ever
Now it's
getting
just
kidnapped by the
now it's
Carnies.
just cool,
I
but
wanted to run away with them. Hmm?
now it's just now it's not just cool. It's just cool that people are missing.
Yeah. I always wanted to run away with the circus. Not
Circus.
necessarily the circus, but the fair with all the amusement rides and the carnies. Yeah. Going
See,
across country. That would be cool.
I always joke because in LGBTQ culture, I am what they call a bear. And when anybody asks me what kind of bear I am, I say I'm a purple carnival bear that like still has popcorn and some candy stuck in his fur. I'm the one that
Oh God.
you threw 3 darts and you got a small prize. That's me. That's me.
Right. And do you have the tattered arm that would be hanging and the yarn is loose?
Honey, you have no clue how tattered I am and how much yard is loose on me. It's like everything's falling apart, but I'm
You poor little bear.
some little kid will love me for the summer, and then I'll
If
get
I
lost.
was a bear, oh, that's true. Some little kid would love you like a corduroy bear, and they'd put buttons on you and sew you back together and love on you.
Do kids even
If
know how to do that anymore?
I don't even know, but if I was a bear, I would be a Winnie the Pooh bear because as Winnie the Pooh has often said, I'm a bear of little brain and long words bother me.
Long words bother me.
Actually, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by Pooh Bear though and his Poohisms, his little smart little quirky quotes.
So
Yeah,
would you dare you like say you play with poo?
I would play with Pooh. Pooh is my favorite. hmm Piglet and Pooh.
And I used to love the Berenstein Bears.
Yes, let's not forget about the Bernstein Bears. You said Berenstein, I say Bernstein.
Bernstein? Which is it?
Tomato, tomato.
Well, do you know that that is a Mandela effect? That is a
The
Mandela
Bernstein
effect
Bears are not saying it ain't
because
so.
some people swear it was the Berenstein Bears. And then another group of people think it's the Bernstein Bears.
It's the
You know,
same thing.
Bernstein.
Burn, it's not the same thing.
There is
Bearstein.
it's actually it's Berenstein, isn't it? There's actually a video on YouTube that will show that when he puts it in one room, it says one thing, and he puts it in another room, and it says a totally different thing.
Just kind of like the Ed McMahon of the Publishers Clearinghouse that they're saying never existed. Ed McMahon never did Publisher Clearinghouse commercials, but he did.
Are you serious? Is that the new one?
Yes.
Because I remember Ed McMahon doing it.
Exactly. Just like I remember, what is his name? Not Shaq, but Sinbad.
Doing Shazam.
Doing Shazam. Exactly.
I'm going to tell you, I saw a video just recently. If you go back onto my TikTok, which is Doc Hava 1, I actually comment to somebody who actually had, who showed a clip from Shazam the movie. And I was like, I remember the popcorn. Of course, then he got a little weird. He said about that it has to do with angels and angels changing thing. And I'm like, I don't think angels have that much to do with us. I don't think we're going to the same place.
If we summon them, they probably do. I know people who do work with the archangels and they summon them. Remember my friend Jim, who we won't talk about his last name, but Jim used to work with do we pronounce them daemons or demons?
Well, there's demons, and then there's daemons, and then there are angels. Those are all. And
he worked with the angels and the demons, and he became a little bit strange. And he started working. He started doing blood magic, and he would swear that he could just manifest anything through angels. Like he'd call upon his archangel, and it would just be there. Look at me surrounded by this world and all this beautiful archangel-y stuff in my background. And here we are talking about angels. But I'm not sure. I'm like, can we call upon the archangels and they do our will?
Believe it or not, archangels are one of the lower echelons of angels.
Really?
Because upon that there are thrones and the cherubim, the seraphim. You know, you've
I've
seen
heard of seraphim.
the multi-wheeled angel. Like it had eyes and wheels all over the place.
I think so.
That is actually an angel called a throne. And I was like, see, we all think of angels as these angelic with wings and feathers. Some of them look scary.
Yeah, cute cherub little things with big, beautiful, fluffy feathers. And yes.
I'm going to tell you, this week I was wondering, angel and demon, is that just propaganda? You know, are they both the same type of entity, or are they working for two different sides?
Well, we call upon them for different reasons. Like, everyone is supposedly assigned a demon, just like everyone is assigned a guardian angel. So it's like, is one you're good and one you're not so good? Do they balance each other out?
Got some angel aura quartz on my right shoulder, making sure the good's on my right. Always got to weigh that one down a little bit. So I don't have all the negative.
Cool. I think they kind of even each other out. I think there are moral compass. One
But
is
I
our
don't,
morals, and ethics, and the other is our good good vibe kind of party kind of, yeah.
I don't think there are a set. I think we have some set morals, but I don't think all morals are set in stone. You know, I don't think we have set ethics. I think some people ethics can sway from others.
I think ethics and morals are taught.
Well, I believe so too. Hmm, I believe some of it's nature and some of it's nurture. Like uh serial killers, I don't think there was anything that any way they were raised that they wouldn't have been serial killers. You know, like I don't think that there was anything Dahmer's mom or dad could have done that would have made him.
Less of a
Yeah.
serial killer. Did he not have morals? Allie thinks that Dahmer was this poor little lonely gay boy who was trying to create the perfect partner in a zombie boyfriend.
The thing about the majority of his victims were people of color.
Yes, and Asian and black and,
Hispanic.
yes, Hispanic.
I just, to me, I have known many a lonely gay boy, you know, and not all of them have been like, I'm just going to eat me somebody today. Well, not in that way. Not in that way.
No, but he could have been the one.
Which means that he has some skewed morals,
He has
you know.
mommy issues too. He had mommy issues until he got beat to death with a broom in prison. But he had mommy issues.
Well, I'm going to tell you who, who at the end of their life, when their parents are dying, don't have issues about one of them, you know.
True.
I'm like, your parents try the best that they can, but for children, that's still not good enough. I
Not all parents try the best they can, though. Mine did, but not all do.
don't understand that.
Not all parents are good parents. They just aren't.
That's so sad.
It is sad, but in reality, I mean, it's true. Think about it. There's lots of parents that are mean and hurtful and abusive toward their children, and they don't do the best they can. They abuse their children intentionally. And I'd like to think that there are far less than there are good parents, but they're out there, unfortunately.
To me, but see, that shows another form of ethics. I believe that human nature can even be defined by socioeconomic issues. If,
Yes.
if, to me, if a family becomes hungry, there is going to be a time where the parent will take their survival versus the child's survival. You know, so you have to understand that where that is going. You know, how does that play into human nature?
Oh,
Does
my kids will always eat before me. If I have food and my kid's hungry, even as an adult, my child's gonna eat before I do. Now, Allie's a different story. Allie would be like, Everett, don't be taking my food. Everett be 2 years old. Love you, Allie. I'm calling you out. But she'd be like, no, sir, you ate an hour ago. You need to leave my food alone.
The thing about it is, it's like, what choice do you make? You have to make a choice. And
He
these
doesn't starve him. I promise you that.
oh
He
no, I
eats all
know.
the time. The boy is
He's
constantly eating, constantly eating.
he's a
But
little
Allie, she loves her some food. She's like, you go eat your grilled cheese. This is mama's. No,
and that trust me, their wedding, the food was real good. Real good.
yeah.
But the thing about it is these are the little choices that I think chip away at human nature.
And see, um, you are right because I, for one, was raised in a household to where the men always ate first. And because they were out working all day. And I mean hard labor, farm work, tobacco fields, cattle, all that stuff. So when they come in, they're hungry. They're going to eat first. I never really understood it, but now I understand it to be they ate first because they have to have the strength in order to perform the job to provide for the family. So they're going to eat first.
Let me tell you this story. It's about my grandmother. My grandmother, what her job was when she was a little kid, was to fan the food to make sure no flies got on the food.
Oh God, I've done that.
There was a raisin pie, and my grandmother saw a fly get into the raisin pie, and she didn't shoo it off because she wanted to see if the guy would eat it. And guess what?
He ate it.
He ate it. He ate it. Now,
Ah,
the reason my mom and grandmother used to say that the men would eat all the food, but then after they left, that's when the women would take out the dessert and the coffee and the tea and stuff and talk.
see, in our house when I was little, the men ate first, then the kids, and then the women. And the women are usually eating while they're cleaning up and tidying up the kitchen and stuff. And they're just picking at what's left. It's just, and I never wanted to be that kind of wife. I'm like, oh my God, you cook all day, you lay all the food out, you have to watch everybody else eat it, and then you pick at what's left while you clean up. What the hell? No, no, sir. Did not want to do that, and I did
It's,
not.
but see, we both grew up in a history of that, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yes.
where, because Kentucky, especially in the tobacco, we're poor farmers. We're poor farmers, you know,
Yep.
and it was hard work.
Oh,
Still,
I know. I was,
most of
yeah.
it's done manually.
Oh, yes. Yep. I was a part of that. Our whole entire family had a job in the tobacco field. I mean, the littlest child on up was doing something.
Now,
Yep.
according to what I learned, the littlest always got to either drive the buggy or drive the tractor.
The littlest, the boy would drive the tractor. The girl would be out there pulling the tobacco plants to set.
Because
But we didn't do the hard labor. No,
my
girls
grandmother
didn't do it.
my grandmother always told me during Thanksgiving how Thanksgiving was just like any other day, just like any other day. They would go out early in the morning to where they already put up all the corn and grab the corn that didn't go through to give to the chickens. And after that, she said Mama would go out and get an old hen and wring its neck and she would put it in the stuffing and cook it that way.
See, my mama was too bougie for that. Gotta love Bonnie. Bonnie wouldn't bring no neck and no turkey or no chicken. No way. Bonnie was a farmer's wife, but she is a bougie farmer's wife. She ain't gonna wring no chicken's neck.
My great grandmother used to grab the chicken by the feet and swirl it around her head and snap the head right off of it, and then
I'm
set
sure
it
my
down.
grandparents done that. I'm sure they did that, but I didn't hear a lot of grandparent stories growing up. So, but I'm sure they did.
See, there's still property out in Western Kentucky that
Hmm.
was my family when it first settled in this area. Very, very interesting. It,
Oh,
it's where you go to the hill and you're related to everybody on it.
yeah, like when I go to Brownsville and I went to Brownsville, Kentucky when we first moved here and we got lost and my maiden name is Vincent.
Mhm.
So I went to the store because I know Brownsville is full of Vincents. I went inside the store and I was like, "Are there any Vincents in here?" And the lady looked. Everybody looked around, and the lady behind the cash register said, "Guilty as charged, ma'am. Guilty as charged." But then again, we're all Vincents. What can we help you with? Because everybody in the store was either a Cox, a Meredith, or a Vincent, and I'm related to all of them. But she said, "Guilty as charged. What's up? How can I help you?" I was looking for a cemetery, and she's like, "Oh, that our cemetery? Oh, it's there." And she explained everything.
Well, that's why I
But
thought it was crazy when when we were looking for the Cave City Cemetery, and Bonnie's like, "It's just over there." I was like, "Oh
hmm
my God,
oh, Debbie's like, "Yeah,
Debbie,
it's over there."
Debbie." But
Yeah, Debbie's like, "Ah, it's right over there." I gotta take you to see Mary Landers. She's all by herself down there.
there was somebody who talked about Mary Landers, that there is some folklore about her being a witch.
Grant Savage told
Yeah,
me that.
I was
Yeah.
like, wow. I really want to go visit her now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put a rose on her tomb,
Hmm?
but with permission. I think in Kentucky or in general, you don't have to have permission to walk into cemeteries because cemeteries are like this public domain. But her tomb is in a private yard,
Hmm?
but it's
It
on the
should be. It
corner.
should be still closed off from it.
Hmm?
Isn't there a little fence around it?
No, no, nothing.
Because I know there's one small one up near China King,
Near where?
China King Buffet.
Oh,
Not
is
China
it?
King, near New Century.
Oh, is there?
Either it's New Century, it's somewhere up there. New Century's the one near Big Lots, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's up near there. There's just a few stones up there.
Oh yeah, I know what they're gonna do.
I think I've seen them.
We should,
They're gonna take.
for Halloween or sometime, we should take a Frank box up there and listen to see what words we can get
We should.
and hear the
Oh yeah, I got tiny hands, man.
spirits.
Ignore the conversation in the other room. It tends to get loud around my house.
Ken, the house of Hamrick always gets wild around
Yeah,
this.
the Hamrick house. It tends to be quite loud, and they
Oh,
continue to talk. But yeah, I want to take a rose to her. I felt led to do that for some reason, and I don't know. It just feels. Hold 1 second. Oh, boys, can you talk in the bedroom, please? It's okay. You can talk in the bedroom. I'm back. We're used to the Hamrick household noise. It's
now,
just the way it is.
and we're used to
We're
men
always
talking in
full
the
of
bedroom.
happy stuff. Huh?
And we're used to guys talking in the bedroom.
It wouldn't be it wouldn't be the Hammers if people weren't talking.
Yeah.
We're loud.
Theoretically, the Vincents as well.
The Vincents. Oh, yes. The Vincents. Very loud. You'd think we were Italian, but we're not.
What are you?
Welsh, Scottish, and Northwestern European.
I always knew you were the Queen of Dragons.
Yes. And Norwegian. So I'm Norwegian and Welsh and Northwestern European. So I'm a Viking princess. That's what the hell I am.
You're just a Viking princess?
That's right. Well, we know I say MF and Viking princess, but you know. We have to be, well, we don't have to be politically correct on our podcast, but
we should be
we should be.
as politically correct as we possibly can be.
Is Viking princess politically correct?
To me, I think it is.
It is.
I don't know anything otherwise. So if somebody wants to come and tell us what about Viking princessry, feel free.
Valerian princess from the House of Dragons. Valorian, yes. She was a Viking princess.
Yeah.
They were of the sea.
Yeah. And that's
the House Valorian.
And that's why it was like, because Wales is the dragon. They have the dragon out there. So I was like, oh.
Yep, I'm Welsh.
I always knew that.
Norwegian.
I'm Polish.
Cool.
Polish and English.
Polish and English. See, I think Caucasian ancestry is kind of bland. I've seen African American ancestry, and oh my gosh, so interesting. Cameroon and I said Cameroon and South Africa and the Congo and so many different regions of Africa. And I'm like, it sounds so exotic compared to Northwestern European. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
But like, I'm trying to think of the place. I can't think of it right now. But the average family in American dollars only makes $20 a month. And I thought to myself,
is that Mongolia?
No, it's in Africa. I'm pretty sure it begins with a B.
With a B. Belize. No, not Belize.
That's South America.
That's not Africa. That's Central America.
African.
Gosh, Sonia, know your geography.
I can't help you either.
No.
Burundi.
Anyway, Ruben has a percentage of Cameroon in his ancestry.
Really?
Yes.
I have some South Saharan African in mine. And to me, what we found interesting is there was always a story of Native American in our family line. And
everybody, right? Me too. Everybody says that.
Most of the people find out that it's not actually Native American. It's more likely African.
That, or have you ever heard of a Cheddar Man from the bogs in England, in Northwestern Europe?
Cheddar Man?
You got to look up Cheddar Man. Cheddar Man looks Native American. He's prehistoric man. He looks so Native American that when you look up Cheddar Man, you're going to be like, well, no wonder all the white people think they're part Native American. Is because Cheddar Man looks like a prehistoric Native American male. And he's Northwestern European.
My grandmother but had Mongolian in her.
Oh, she would have had features of Native American then,
Very
or
much.
the Welsh in my family were very, very dark skinned. My grandfather looked black. He looked African American.
Hmm.
Honest to God, I can show you a picture, but he's not. So I guess it's the Welsh in him. Byron Ballard told me that the Welsh have dark skin. Some of the Welsh. So
And
Welsh.
that was one of the beliefs of the fairy folk too, was that they were the darker colored.
Well,
United.
he is extremely dark. Yep.
See,
He looked African American.
my grandmother was olive complected, and I tend to have a bit of olive complexion to my skin.
Me, I'm just pasty pale. Did you see me disappear?
I did,
Let's see.
and I have
Oh, how did I disappear? I
with magic.
disappeared and then I showed up again.
Neil deGrasse Tyson made a comment about how amazing it was because we are made of the same thing that has made the universe. We are fragments of stars that had the ability to become sentient.
We are stardust. Look
We
at me. I'm sitting on top of my world.
We are stardust.
We are.
Everything around us is made of stardust and people's dreams.
Should we sing "We Are Come from the Goddess"?
I don't know, or should we be singing "This is"? Well, no, I was about to say "This is my sunshine." No, there has to be one about "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I
How
wonder."
I wonder who you are instead of what you are.
Either way, who, what, and where. It's magic.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is.
We, in one way, we can look at that we are all created from magic.
We need who is the voice that's who are we? Where do we come from? The African American gentleman,
Yeah,
not Samuel L. Jackson.
you're not thinking of
God.
Morgan Freeman, are you?
Yes, yes. We need our Morgan Freeman voice right now.
Hello.
Who, what, when, where, and why?
Did you hear about Darth Vader? James Earl Jones has retired doing the voice of Darth Vader.
Really?
So now what he has given Star Wars and Disney the right to use his voice and likeness. So they're now going to give it to an AI simulator to create a voice for Darth Vader.
Why couldn't they just give it to Samuel L. Jackson? He would be the greatest Darth Vader ever.
The thing,
Now
see,
listen,
that was one of
Luke,
the things
I am your father. No.
that was the one thing that started making people a little nervous is now they're able to reproduce actors and not have to pay them.
Oh, I'm so sleepy.
Hey, it's getting colder and it's getting darker.
We made soup tonight.
What kind of soup?
Broccoli cheddar.
See, to me, soup is one of my favorite types of magic creating.
Mm-hmm.
Putting different herbs and stuff in it to come out with, like, I just made one not too long ago. It was a chicken based, but I was getting a little mucusy. I just made a sage base with it, and it came out very nice. Sage and chicken, or sage and poultry, always has a beautiful pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's a little bit of Thanksgiving to take through all your year.
Yes.
And especially
It's really good.
if you're eating anything greasy, sage goes well with it because
Oh,
It'll calm the stomach.
It would pair well with duck.
Oh yeah, very much so. I love duck. Love a good roasted duck.
I've never eaten duck.
I cannot believe that.
Believe it, I've not had duck.
There's a place that I want to go in Louisville that it serves Peking duck, and I would like to try that. It is an Asian type of cooking of duck that they serve with onion pancakes.
Ruben loves Peking duck.
See, we should go make a day of it.
Oh, do you know what I had at the Mystic Arts Festival in Bowling Green this weekend? Pierogies from
Real.
scratch.
See,
From scratch.
I can't eat them anymore until this is all over.
Oh, I'm sorry, but they were so good. One of them had kraut and the others had
Kapusta.
potato and cheese. Yep.
We make them by scratch. That is,
They did too. They did too. And they were really good.
they are hellish. You know, you can. They are things that are easily to pop in your mouth. So you know, by the end of a dinner, you made 5 dozen, and only 3 are left.
Right, because you just want to eat them, eat and eat and eat. But the pierogies were so good. I think the name of the food truck was Proud Mary's Kitchen.
I've
So
seen
good.
that one.
Yeah, it was really good. And the Pagan Festival was really cute. And they had a lot of things to sell and a lot of local artists. And of course, it was it wasn't kept hush hush. They did advertise, but once the Christians found out when it was televised on WBKO, oh my, the haters come out of the woodworks to talk about it on the news channel, of course. But then, you know me, when I saw that hate, I go, well, my granddaughter and I, we thoroughly enjoyed the festival. And when the devil worshiping heathens and witches offered to sacrifice her to the gods, I just said, no, thank you. A face painting will be fine. And then I put a picture of Kennedy on there with their little face painting. It was so cute. I got so many likes and hearts on my little status. All the pagans were like, that's great. Sarcasm is awesome.
The thing about it is, you know, we were
Yawning.
we were talking about it, and Glasgow, to be honest, Glasgow as a community doesn't really like to put itself out there so far, you know, where Bowling Green has more of a mixed grouping of people who are willing to put themselves out and try new things and go to different things, you know.
Hmm.
Um, some of the other budding cities that I think could do something like that, I think Cape City is one of them, you know, as the more like I think we should try to take take the resources we have and work them to their best ability, you know.
Cape City's so tiny compared to Glasgow. What is going on with our Glasgow folks? I
I,
don't think they want to do the work.
well, I'm going to tell you, I was talking to one of the mayors, and they brought I said, well, as this area is growing, we need to focus on broadening like horizons and opportunities. And this one, the mayor got very upset and felt that we need to not focus on the exterior things, but focus on the infrastructure of uh, the factory work. And I'm like, we're losing factory work so quickly that we need to start looking at other avenues as well. I think Glasgow has a tendency to be stuck in its ways.
It does. Old money, old families, and old money that don't give a crap about anybody but themselves. Yep, I said it and I'll say it over and over and over again.
Oh, and I'm going to tell you, the only time that I would see them down near Bunch is when they were talking about each other and scheming against each other.
Election time, they just had a fish fry. Let's go down to Bunch and have our annual fish fry and get all the African American families involved and show people how much we love our community. Yep, that's exactly what they did.
Time,
And they know it.
but until we can get things changing, and the people, that's why things tend to happen more in the Bowling Green area.
What is it called when one race takes something from another race and kind of like uses it to make themselves look
Cultural appropriation.
appropriation?
Yes.
Well, that's what they did with that fish fry. Fish fries aren't traditionally Caucasian in nature in this area.
Oh, I bet they would argue with you just
They can
because.
argue all they want to, but I'm from here. Just like Bunch Avenue is not the place for a group of Caucasian males to go and sit on a corner and play spades and eat fish. We know this.
I have to tell you something, and it's one of the things that made me think differently about Glasgow. Do you know that there used to be a lot of black owned businesses
Yes.
around that area? But when when desegregation happened, they took all the buildings that were African owned and put them under eminent domain and took them back. So in this area alone, not to trample on feathers, but they systematically tried to destroy African American wealth in.
Redlining.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but
Yep.
you see that all throughout this area. On the other
You
side,
see it all through the country. They just hide it better.
on the other side of the track, and and my thing is, if we could start homogenizing those lines, um, just trying to. My big thing is, and I didn't always used to think this, but there is enough out there for everybody. There is so much for everybody that everybody could have a little bit of peace. Everybody could have a little bit of peace and comfort and sleep well at night, that not everybody has to fight to be on top. In fact, I was thinking to myself, there is no way that I think any one person should ever stand at the top of anything. I think always that a council should, or a republic, just because I think that one's person cannot see the total scape of everything. I think only when it can be argued that people can see other aspects and other roads and other stones to possibly go on,
Yeah.
But the thing about it, human nature so wants a leader. People about 90% of the people love following somebody because that the person who they follow also becomes a scapegoat for all their problems as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to blame the leader. You always got to blame somebody. It's easier to blame somebody else than it is to blame yourself.
So, that is why I'm like, do a small council. It gets 5 different aspects and 5 different looks at things. Don't feel like anybody has to be at the top. Feel like it's sort of like a mound.
I don't know. Even the council has their own little leadership within it, though.
It does. It does. And I haven't thought of perfection yet. I've only thought of different opportunities, different ways to better bring people together,
Yeah.
because as I said, people want to follow a leader. Looks like you want to follow the Sandman.
I was about to say that. I'm getting sleepy. He is calling my name, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to meet up with Sandman tonight. I have been having such vivid dreams, and they're not all good dreams either. The strangest dream I have not yet told Jill, but I dreamed, Jill and Lonnie are friends. I
Mhm.
dreamed that Jill had me down as one of her emergency contact people for her kids at school. And I went all the way to Caneyville to pick up her kids from school. And I have no idea why. That was just what I was dreaming about.
But you are also the person who would do that.
Oh, yeah, I was also the person that would do that. But then there's just been, I have had so many wild, vivid, crazy dreams lately. Every night. Twice this week, I've been kidnapped. Twice this week.
And that wasn't even in dreams. have have you thought about doing any kind of crystals or any kind of have you tried putting some iron under the bed?
I haven't. I should.
That's what I would do. See if it can absorb that. Even if you have some hematite. Hematite is a type of iron. Put that under your bed. You know?
I have a horseshoe, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, just toss that under your bed.
I'll have to look for it, but I think I have one somewhere. Yeah, gonna have to do that. Well, I guess I'm gonna go and meet up with the Sandman.
Bring your horseshoe.
Have a good night.
Be kind to one another, love one another, reach out to one another, don't eat one another. And like Grandpa Sackwitz always used to say,
Like Grandpa Sackwitz always used to say, Taylor. She backed up. Don't be an asshole.
Yes, I knew
don't
it.
be an asshole.
Taylor said, I knew it was that.
Good night.
Good night.